Kesha Rose Sebert is one of pop's most unconventional stars. Known for her glitter-soaked anthems, rebellious spirit, and unapologetic personality, she built her career on being the life of the party. But beneath the neon colors, bold lyrics, and outrageous stage presence, there's another side to Kesha, one that most fans don't know about. A side fascinated with the paranormal, the mystical, and the unknown. And at one point in her life, that fascination went far beyond curiosity. Kesha herself has spoken about terrifying encounters with what she believes to be the supernatural, ghosts, spirits, and even something darker. What exactly happened to Kesha? What experiences made her claim she was haunted? And how did these creepy encounters shape the music she wrote and the way she sees the world today? Tonight, we dive deep into the strange and unsettling story of Kesha's creepy encounter with the supernatural. To understand Kesha's connection to the supernatural, you have to look back at who she is beyond the music. Long before she became a pop star, Kesha grew up in Los Angeles and Nashville, raised by her mother, songwriter Phoebe Sebert. Her childhood wasn't the typical glamorous Hollywood upbringing. The family often struggled financially, and Kesha was known to be quirky, eccentric, and drawn to things outside the norm. Even in her teenage years, she was fascinated by spirituality, astrology, and ghost stories. Friends say she loved exploring abandoned houses, playing with tarot cards, and testing the limits of what might be possible. So when Kesha later admitted that she'd had real supernatural experiences, it didn't shock those who knew her best. It almost felt like destiny. Kesha's most famous story about the supernatural centers on a house she once lived in. During interviews promoting her debut album Animal in 2010, she shocked fans by casually admitting that she had been haunted. According to Kesha, she believed a ghost had taken a very strong, very personal interest in her. She said the spirit wasn't just present in the house, it was interacting with her in ways she couldn't ignore. At first, it started small. She'd feel cold drafts when the windows were closed. She'd hear footsteps creaking across the wooden floors at night, even when she was home alone. Her things would be moved, shifted just slightly out of place, as if someone else had been rifling through them. But the encounters escalated. She claimed she began to feel a presence, something watching her, standing just behind her shoulder, moving through the shadows when the lights were dim. And then, she said, it went further. In her own words, Kesha said, "I lived in this house. I had a couple of experiences with the supernatural. I don't know his name, but he was a ghost. And yes, I had relations with him." That shocking admission became headline news. At first, people thought Kesha was joking. After all, she was known for her wild sense of humor and outrageous stories. But as she continued talking about it in different interviews, she seemed deadly serious. She believed she had formed a strange, otherworldly relationship with a ghost who lived in her home. The media had a field day. Late-night talk shows turned it into punchlines. Critics dismissed it as another one of Kesha's bizarre publicity stunts. But those who listened closely noticed something different in her tone when she discussed it. She didn't laugh. She didn't wink. She spoke as if she truly believed it. She even went so far as to write a song about it. On her album Warrior, the track Supernatural references an intimate encounter with a ghost. Lyrics describe being touched by something invisible, being consumed by a force that felt both frightening and exhilarating. For Kesha, it wasn't just a throwaway story. It became part of her art, her mythology, and her truth. But that wasn't the only time Kesha spoke of the paranormal. In 2012, she told Ryan Seacrest in an interview that she had seen spirits since childhood. She believed certain people were more sensitive to the supernatural than others, and she considered herself one of them. She also told stories of sensing energy in rooms, hearing whispers that no one else could hear, and even feeling drained after certain encounters, as if something was feeding off her energy. Paranormal investigators often talk about this sensation, describing it as a spirit siphoning vitality from the living. Kesha wasn't afraid to admit that she sought out the supernatural. She explored haunted hotels on tour, went on ghost hunts with friends, and often wore crystals or talismans for protection. To her, the supernatural wasn't just real, it was a part of life. One of the most disturbing stories she shared came years later, when she was staying at a hotel rumored to be haunted. She said she woke up in the middle of the night to find the room ice cold. When she opened her eyes, she felt as though someone was lying next to her. The mattress even dipped slightly, as though weight had pressed against it. She said she froze, unable to move, and felt a hand brush against her arm. When she finally turned, no one was there. Yet the indentation in the bed remained. For Kesha, it was confirmation that the supernatural wasn't just playful or quirky. It could be invasive, unsettling, and terrifying. Many fans wonder, why would Kesha, of all people, have so many paranormal encounters? Some paranormal theorists say that people who are open to the supernatural, or those who've been through trauma, are more susceptible to these kinds of experiences. Kesha has spoken openly about her struggles, her battles with mental health, industry exploitation, and years-long legal fights. Some believe that kind of emotional vulnerability can act as a beacon for supernatural entities. Others think her fascination with mystical practices, tarot, crystals, seances, may have opened doors she couldn't close. Paranormal experts warn that dabbling in these practices without proper protection can attract unwanted spirits. Whether Kesha truly encountered a ghost, or whether her subconscious created these experiences, one thing is clear: she believes in what she saw and felt. The public's reaction to Kesha's ghost stories has always been mixed. Some fans embrace it, saying it makes her even more authentic, more unapologetically herself. Others dismiss it as absurd. But for Kesha, the ridicule doesn't matter. In fact, she's doubled down on her beliefs. She once said in an interview, "I'm not afraid of ghosts. I kind of like them. They keep life interesting." Her experiences have even made their way into her style and branding. Glitter mixed with skulls, bright colors mixed with darkness, that duality has always defined her. The supernatural, in a way, has become just another extension of her identity. Today, Kesha continues to speak about her spiritual side. She meditates, uses sound healing, and still surrounds herself with protective crystals. Though she doesn't share as many ghost stories as she used to, fans believe her encounters shaped not only her music, but her perspective on life. To Kesha, the supernatural isn't something to fear, it's something to accept, explore, and even embrace. Her creepy encounters, whether literal or symbolic, became part of her mythology as an artist. They remind her fans that life is stranger, darker, and more magical than we often want to admit. So, what really happened to Kesha? Did she truly have an intimate relationship with a ghost, as she claimed? Did she wake up next to something unseen in that haunted hotel? Or are her stories simply the imaginative creations of a pop star who thrives on pushing boundaries? We may never know the truth. But one thing is undeniable. Kesha's creepy encounters with the supernatural remain some of the most bizarre, fascinating, and unforgettable celebrity ghost stories ever told. And if you ever find yourself in a dark, quiet room and feel the mattress dip beside you, well, maybe you'll understand exactly what she meant. Because as Kesha herself once said, the supernatural is real. You just have to believe.